2019 Lincoln Nautilus Reserve. My hairline looks like this, so her hands can look like this. Okay, so luxury crossover SUVs come in a couple of different flavors. You've got your cars for the kind of blue-collar rich guy who listens to Rage Against the Machine and thinks they're on the same side. You've got your cars for the kind of rich guy who reminds his kids every single day that he's the one who's rich, not them. Then you've got the ones for the kind of rich guys who have an unmarked vehicle parked outside of their house every poker night. And then you have the Lincoln Nautilus. A car for the kind of wealthy guy who doesn't know how to be wealthy. This feels very new money, because old money doesn't buy American, and the Lincoln Nautilus is understated in a way that suggests it's entry-level luxury. It's the fancy crossover that's nicer than any of its Ford brethren, but not exactly as nice as any of its European counterparts. But then this makes sense if all you wanted was a Tahoe that covers its toast in all fruit instead of jelly. The Lincoln Nautilus is like if you're trying to tell the world, hey, I have money, but I'm not too good to drink Yellowtail. This feels like a modern interpretation of classic American luxury, which I can really only describe as something you'd see as the grand prize on the Showcase Showdown in 1976. The more clearly defined lines, the wood paneling, the wide bodies and the floating suspensions, the insular cabins, an interior that's cushy and soft with an exterior that's quietly boisterous. That vibe of Hollywood by way of Scottsdale, Arizona. Style that's less about technological or mechanical refinement than about giving the impression that the automaker somehow found a way to make a car out of the concept of wearing cologne. The Lincoln Continental, the Chrysler New Yorker, the Cadillac DeVille, these smoky, vintage, luxury classics for confirmed bachelorhood, they weren't going to deliver a life-changing driving experience, but they had this rich character to them that suggested that being such an obvious product of your time didn't mean you couldn't be timeless. Those cars are timeless. The Lincoln Nautilus will be timeless, but mostly because in 10 years, you won't be able to tell what time it even came from. This is luxury without distinction, cash without character, affluence without ambition. But how does it drive? Is this a better car than meets the eye, or does it struggle to justify its cost? Well, I'm the Roman. This is Race to the Bottom, and actually no, it's Bonus Bottom! Yeah, Bonus Bottom! 2 in 1 month, baby, because I felt zesty. I'm gonna put this channel on my back and carry it up the damn mountain if I have to drive 1,000 terrible cars. I'm doing this. Let's do this. You and me, us. Let's go do this. I'm ready. Come on. So yes, join me. So join me as I continue my frivolous search for the worst car in the world. Hey, Lincoln Nautilus, are you real luxury? I'm not certain. Is this just a phase you're going through? Lincoln Nautilus, the official car of regional project managers. Oh look, a gentrified Ford Edge. I mean, really, that's what this is, right? If we're being honest. Same platform and everything, same wheelbase even. The main difference is that, well, obviously it's nicer, but I don't know that it's $50,000 nice. There's a dissonance here between what it costs and what you actually get, and I know a lot of people who feel that $50,000 is more than fair for a luxury crossover SUV. And hey, maybe they're right, I'm not a valuation expert. And to be fair, you are getting a turbocharged engine in the bargain. But this whole package feels like cosplay for country clubs. This feels like it's trying to fit in by emulation, like it's chasing that European pace car, what with its turbocharged 6-cylinder and its adaptive suspension, and engineering that attempts to deliver a more precise feel to the steering. and in some ways the Nautilus actually succeeds. The engine here is the 2.7-liter V6 turbo, making 335 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque, matched to an 8-speed automatic transmission with factory fuel economy of 20 miles per gallon city, 25 miles per gallon highway, and 22 miles per gallon combined. And for its size, it's shockingly aggressive when you actually hammer it down. This has zero trouble getting up to speed and keeping you there. Big surprise, turbo engine. But I really don't like this gearbox. I've read a couple of outlets praising this 8-speed, and I'm sorry, I just don't get it. Shifts felt very clunky, and while the ride was surprisingly quiet for such a large, non-electric car, it wasn't exactly a smooth ride. Granted, Bruce told me this transmission did require a reflash, and to be fair, there's been an ongoing issue with either the rear axle or the whole damn rear differential, where it makes this clunk sound on acceleration that you can feel, it's sort of, you get this chunk feeling like you rolled over a very small speed bump. And then you get this floaty, unsteady feeling for a couple of seconds before it smooths out. I never felt like I was in danger, but even factoring in that there are specific issues to this model that aren't necessarily reflected in every Nautilus, I still found myself wishing I was driving something else. Lincoln Nautilus. All surfaces come pre-treated with golfer sweat and Nautica Voyage. Alright, let's say everything worked perfectly from a mechanical standpoint. I would still struggle to really see how this justifies its 2019 price tag. The Acura RDX at the same general trim level was close to $6,000 less than this, as was a base Lexus RX 350. You could get a BMW xDrive 30i in 2019 for $43,000, but $49,870 for an inconsistent ride quality, a sunroof prone to leaks, a clunky gearbox, and the worst audio system I've ever heard in a luxury car. It's ridiculous. I mean, obviously I can't play the audio because copyright, but we were listening to Sixpence None the Richer just so I could see what we were dealing with here, and it was really more like Thruppence None the Richer, because the sound quality was tinny and sharp, with mids that were just mid. It was just really unpleasant. But as our volunteer Bruce notes, he doesn't really plan to keep this all that much longer. I've linked Bruce's YouTube channel in the description because he does a pretty great review of his own car, and he makes this point that Lincoln didn't know what they wanted this to be, and as I was driving this car, that was sort of the vibe I was getting, because it feels so far removed even from the third-gen Lincoln Town Car, a car that still felt like a Lincoln, not just in name. But in getting rid of things like the alphanumeric naming conventions, it felt like Lincoln wanted to rebrand, to seem more exotic. The Nautilus basically took over for the MKX, which was going through a mid-cycle refresh for model year 2019. So Lincoln more or less took the MKX, freshened up the design, added modern tech, a more plushy interior depending on the trim, and replaced the old 6-speed automatic with the aforementioned clunky 8-speed. And it worked. This did sell. It's still selling by any metric whatsoever. The Nautilus is a big success for Lincoln. In Q4 of last year, the 2024, brand sales were up some 35%, thanks in large part to the Nautilus. And as I mentioned a bit earlier, it's received above average reliability ratings from such outlets as Consumer Reports and Repair Pal. But none of that seems to have done anything for Lincoln's perception in the luxury car space, because these cars don't have the handling or the style to appeal to European luxury enthusiasts in the family way, and they're too subdued to appeal to crypto Kevins who want to spin the block on 24-inch chrome, listening to Logic or Gucci Mane or whatever the hell these diamond-handed blockchain bungholes listen to during the Care carefree years before heartbreak drives them into the arms of the Fresh and Fit podcast. No, this is a luxury SUV for a company still coming to grips with the reality that they aren't on the guest list anymore, even if the numbers say they should be. You don't hear about Lincoln in the same breath as BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Porsche, Lexus, Rolls. Lincoln hasn't been on the other side of the velvet rope in a very long time because the brand has been boxed in by the perception that it's boring, edgeless luxury that places comfort over everything else, to where you can't see why anybody would want to drive one any more than a power-tripping authority figure can see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The brand is stuck in a box of its own making, and I'm honestly not sure how they change that other than through painful growth. The unwanted evolution of a brand in repose. Maybe they put all of their focus on SUVs and crossovers and make that their luxury brand identity. Or maybe they break out of the box and focus more on performance or EVs or something like that. None of it's going to be easy. Hell, the last time a Lincoln got put in a box, Andrew Johnson became president, and that resulted in a bunch of national growing pains too. Lincoln Nautilus. I can't wait to go to a dinner party and never take my jacket off. Of course, you have to wonder if Lincoln even needs to change anything when the Nautilus is this successful. Sure, it doesn't have the best handling in the world, and it looks like an Uber Lux that somebody forgot to decommission, but the turbo provides just enough oomph that you could maybe forget this isn't a Lexus or a BMW. Bruce wanted an SUV that drives like a town car, and I can definitely see how he landed on this choice, because the town car was very simple, no frills, more about the vibe than about what it could actually do. And this is about a vibe too. It's inauspicious luxury. You go to the nice restaurant and you hand the key to a disappointed valet who really wanted to go park, air quotes, a Lambo or a Koenigsegg, but now he's got to work this land barge into a parking spot thinner than retail patience. Yet while the Nautilus is a less refined luxury, it's also a more confident luxury in a way. It doesn't have to justify itself to valets or to popped collars who had their graduation dinner at a Michelin star restaurant. It's luxury that demands no attention because it's not a needy kind of luxury. It's privilege that doesn't provoke. It's prosperity without preachiness. But I also think it's a symbol of attitudes shifting towards an idea that's kind of prosaic, but no less relevant in a world as chaotic as this one. That luxury doesn't have to mean the flashy style of a British roadster, or the confident handling of an Italian coupe, or the technology of a Japanese sports car, or the intrepid engineering of a German sedan, or even the size of an American SUV. Luxury doesn't have to mean size, it doesn't have to mean horsepower, or technology, or even aesthetic. Luxury can just mean a quiet cabin, a ride that doesn't announce itself to you or to anybody else. Luxury can just mean peace because it's so hard won and richly afforded. Even if money can't buy you happiness, it can buy you peace when used judiciously. Like when you buy a car as expensively inconspicuous as a Lincoln Nautilus. This car doesn't play at the high rollers table, because it doesn't have to. And even if I don't love this car, I can't help but respect it. Dissatisfaction, disappointment, secondhand burnout. Algorithmosis affects millions of viewers every single day. If you've ever rolled your eyes at seeing a content creator you love resort to YouTuber face to be noticed by a bunch of ones and zeros, algorithmosis may be affecting you. But now there's hope with once monthly Patreon. With Patreon, $1 a month can help regular car reviews to continue to provide quality automotive content without clickbait titles or thumbnails with stunned looks that you can only compare to an O-face for the first nut after No Goon June. Unlock early access videos, uncensored, advertiser-unfriendly alternate takes, and exclusives like the Regular Friends podcast, diary videos, and Brian's take on select race-to-the-bottom cars, featuring the type of humor that brought regular car reviews to the dance, while simultaneously making them both functionally unemployable in the real world. Not into Patreon but want to cure your algorithmosis? Order from our merch store linked below, and Roman will send you a personalized thank you video, whether you want one or not. Side effects of supporting regular car reviews on Patreon may include entertainment, feelings of accomplishment, early access-induced euphoria, increased length and girth, spontaneous applause upon entering any room, biological immortality, exemption from No Cream Pie July, No Bust August, Don't Touch Your Member September, No Boner October, No Nut November, and Don't Touch Your Member September but in December. Do not use Patreon if you have a happiness allergy. Keep filling the tank after the fuel dispenser clicks. Continue spinning on Wheel of Fortune when you know the answer and most of the letters are already filled in anyway. Or you post first in the comments of every video no matter how long the video's already been up. Ask your mechanic's dog if Patreon is right for you. Regular car reviews on Patreon. Insert line to close out advertisement today. You know, after thinking it over, I drove this knowing intellectually that it was going in the bottom 5, but as I wrote this review and really thought it over, I don't think I can put it there. When I first started driving it, I told Bruce, like, hey, this might actually be a contender for the bottom, which I meant the bottom 5, not literally the last place. But as I continued to drive it, it became a bit more acceptable to me, to where, yes, there were still negatives that stuck out, but I could see how someone would come to enjoy this. It wasn't like the Prius that I did, where I'm just wondering, okay, other than fuel savings, what's the draw here, you know? And realistically, I don't think it's worse than the Chrysler Town and Country. Don't get me wrong, this isn't some great car. It's not good, really, but I can't force it, no matter how badly I want to keep adding cars to my bottom 5, because that's kind of the point of the show. Although I would like to add a car to the top 5, because it's been a really, really long time since I've added anything to my top 5. And I understand this whole system is kind of confusing because the top 5 acts as a traditional top 5, with number 1 being my favorite, whereas the leader of the race to the bottom typically goes at the bottom of the bottom 5. So number 5 of the bottom 5 is the one that's actually winning the race to the bottom, not number 1, which is kind of the point, because if it's a race to the actual bottom of the list, I don't know, it made sense when I thought it up, and it's kind of too late to change it. Now, I still have a really hard time reconciling the cost of this car with the value of what you get. I mean, yeah, peace is expensive, but you can get peace in a treehouse and not spend $50,000. But even if I don't feel that the cost is justifiable with all the other options out there, I don't really begrudge anyone choosing this. I mean, seriously, don't let me or anybody else convince you that you're wrong for liking what you like. I'm just some random guy on the internet. So yeah, this goes in the ass crack of the race to the bottom. It's neither top 5 nor bottom 5. Bottom 5 is staying exactly how it is. Chrysler Town and Country, you're sticking where you are as the car I disliked the least out of the bottom 5, followed by that R-Title Prius at number 2. And then the Chevy Cruze hatchback from hell at number 3, my brother's Dodge Journey at number 4, and yes, a tale as old as time itself, the 2015 Nissan Sentra SV is still the leader in the race to the bottom. I'm beginning to think I will never find a car worse. With that said, while it is the leader, it hasn't won the race to the bottom because I'm looking for something truly irredeemable. Because I can mostly find the positive in any car, but I want that 1 in a million that's just beyond justification. If you think you have it and you'd like to be on the show, send me an email at regularcarstheroman@gmail.com. That's regularcarstheroman@gmail.com. We can only accept submissions from people willing to travel to us in southeastern Pennsylvania, but if that sounds like you, please reach out. And if you have any interesting cars that would be a better fit for Brian to review, send me an email, and if I think he'd want to review them, I'll make sure he sees them. I want to thank Bruce for taking time out of his day to come be on the show. We met at the RCR car meet last year, and he's a really cool guy whose YouTube channel you should definitely check out. It's Bruce Knows, and it's linked in the description. And I'd like to thank you for watching. You make this the best job a guy could ask for, seriously, even with driving not great cars. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, or share the video, or even consider subscribing if you aren't already, and tap the bell icon so you're notified for every new video. Even if you're subscribed, double check to make sure that it hasn't been switched back to default somehow. Either way, thank you so much for making RCR a part of your week. Take care. Hey, Lincoln Nautilus, are you real luxury? I'm not certain, is this just a phase you're going through? Hey, Lincoln Nautilus, do you need company? It's a gift sometimes to have no one acknowledging you.